Hey, welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. I've just been babbling and babbling here to Linda, you know.
I would smart off, but I won't.
Well, I was telling Linda about all the fun that we've had this week trying to get everything ready for the broadcasts. And we've got Artesia at Deming tonight, and I'll be going to Deming. Joby and Robbie will be there, and that should be exciting. Because they don't have internet at the school. So I've got this fancy schmancy big antenna, super duper.
I'm surprised they don't have internet. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they have internet at the school, but they don't have it at the football field. So, so I've got the super duper, we call it the bat wing. And it's got these wings on it and everything. They're supposed to super suck in the signal so that you get a good, consistent signal. And it's worked pretty well for us. I have 2 of them now. And so fingers crossed that, that it'll work. Roswell High is playing Los Lunas tonight at the Wool Bowl. And we've got our crew doing that. We'll have a 2-camera shot, Art and Kelly and all that stuff. And then Goddard is at El Paso, Austin. Now, we won't be doing video from there, but I did finally find a radio announcer yesterday at 11:30.
Well, all of this sounds just like a choreographed dance.
It is. It is. All these things that we're juggling.
Who's on first and who's on the, what's on second or however that goes.
That's right.
You got to get it all working at the same time. And
yep.
Yeah.
Well, we've got some good folks. Mike is going to be in the studio to work with Jeff for the Goddard broadcast. Tanner is back. He was off last weekend, and so he'll be in the booth at the Wool Bowl to make sure that all works. And then I'll be in Deming screwing up our broadcast. So.
Oh, that'll be good. Listen, I marched many, many miles on that field in band when I was a kid.
That's right. Well, you lived...
yeah, I was from there.
From there. And do they still do the duck races?
Well, they did. I don't know. Well, last year, of course, was... I don't know.
Yeah.
And I was asking somebody this year, and they didn't care. And they live there, but they never go to town. They live about halfway between Silver and Deming. And I said, well, did they have the duck races? Well, I don't know. I don't go to town. I thought, well, that was a dumb question.
Candy sold the radio station.
Really?
Yeah, she's retired from radio now.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, after all these years.
Who?
She's still a state rep.
Yeah.
Or was she a rep or senator? I think she was a rep.
I couldn't tell.
Whatever, but she's still doing that. But she's no longer in the radio business. She has sold the station to Mike Smith, not the Mike Smith from Artesia, but the Mike Smith from Las Cruces, who has Bravo Mike Communications, and they've got some stations in Las Cruces and all that. So,
because that was Bob Toby's for 100 years when I was.
But you know who's still doing the play-by-play? Danny Rodriguez.
Oh.
He was probably doing the play-by-play when you were there.
Well, I couldn't tell you. I don't remember that part. But.
Yeah. Because as long as I've been in New Mexico and interacting with Danny's been the guy in Deming. Great guy. Love working with him and talking to him. So.
Good.
So we'll be going to Deming. I think the funniest Deming story was, this was years ago. We took a crew to broadcast the game on radio and record it on videotape, and because we weren't doing video streaming at the time, and PVT was showing them like the next day on the cable, so we'd go over and record it and then come back, and then they'd put it on the cable the next day. That was before we're doing all this live streaming stuff. And we got there, and the nice lady that drove the crew over there comes up to the press box, and she says, we were just told by the local people here that Artesia people are requested to get out of town.
Oh.
That there's a gang turf war going on at the Walmart and the Kmart, and that we're not to stop in Deming. We're to get into our cars and head back to Las Cruces.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Oh, Lord. Well, I know it used to be a terrible, terrible war between Silver City and Deming. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it got nasty sometimes, like rocks throwing at buses and, rows. And I thought, it's a game, people. Get over it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, don't play each other.
Right.
It's real simple. Just cut the crap and don't play each other.
Well, Linda, if you talk to old timers here, they'll tell you stories of back in the 70s between Artesia and Carlsbad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, same thing. If you can't get along, don't play. That's not a good example to teach a little kid.
Oh, I don't know. You're teaching them, what they're going to be doing when they get into
Fighting for the 50-yard line or something. Yeah. Uh-huh. What an example.
It's amazing. Well, I was able to get an interview. Barry Chambers, known as Sarge, used to be an assistant coach here for a number of years, baseball, football, and other sports, and he was a teacher here. And then he left to be the head football coach in Deming. And so I wanted to talk to him because he's coached here and he's coached there. And I finally, with a little help of some folks here, hunted him down. And so I did an interview with him, and we talked for about 10, 12 minutes. And that'll be on our sideline, the Faith Baptist Church sideline show today.
Well, of course, when I was over there, Rusty Hofackett was the coach forever. And that was the way it was. And I look back in my annuals, and you look at these shorts that all these coaches were wearing. They were hot pants. It's a risque annual that I have for what guys were wearing in those days. And it was just as normal as all get out. You know, that's just the style in those days.
Yeah. You know who else has a connection with Deming is Ike Montoya. He was the boys basketball coach here, and he was coach over there. I think won a state championship over there. So there were
coaches.
A couple people that had
way
some
back then where we actually won, and the band was called the Pride and Joy of Luna County.
Okay.
We had a very, very good band. In fact, one of our concerts, Doc Severinsen
really
came and played, and we cut a record album with him.
Seriously?
On it.
Really?
Yeah,
Doc Severinsen from The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson?
Uh-huh.
Was he
Little
wearing
bitty guy.
Was he wearing a multicolored suit when he came to Deming?
He was like a normal person. No, it was very nice. And one of the Rex Kimball, he was a very talented trumpet player and got to play with him.
Wow.
And they had a piccolo trumpet and whatever, and it was really neat.
That's impressive.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. He had Doc Severinsen that came to
Mr.
Deming.
Perkins got him to I don't know what, we were kids. Who cares how you get somebody to come? They just magic, and then they show up,
Well, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I've got the record album still, of course. And, once in a while I'll drag it out for nostalgia.
Now, were you in the band?
Yes.
What did you play?
Clarinet.
So you were in the marching band?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because if you were in the band, then you were in marching and concert. I mean, because when it was cold and there weren't football, then you had concert. So
that's cool.
And the rules, I have this book. I have weird thing. I don't have a scrapbook. I have a scrap box. So you have very strange things in there, and the rules and how you will behave and what you will do. There was a wonderful sign in the music room, and it said, "What you hear here and what you see here will remain here when you leave here."
Oh, wow.
And I thought, there's really top secrets in this music room. I never could understand that, but it's a great phrase.
Yeah.
And it should be applied to numerous things,
Yeah, cut down on gossip. Quit talking about everybody else.
Well, yeah. If you're in a business, you should know what should remain there and not be out on the street. But great stuff. And in those days, if you were caught chewing gum while you were playing your instrument, you wore it on your nose or behind your ear.
Oh, wow.
And that's the way it was.
Yeah.
And you know what? Nobody got sued. Nobody had to go to therapy. You learned what you were supposed to do. And I have the rule book because every 2 years, Mr. Perkins took the band to Chihuahua. We played concerts down there. And we went, of course, through Palomas and then Casa Grande, and we stopped in Colonia Juarez and played a concert there and went on. And, they had lunch for us and everything. And it was great. Don't drink the water. Don't put your mouth on a Coke bottle. Don't eat lettuce that's been washed in water. Well, I and amongst 11 others somehow did something, despite the fact that I'm so careful.
Yeah.
Got sick and missed the last steak dinner.
Oh, no.
But we took a doctor with us, and gave me a wonderful shot. And I wasn't one that had to pass the trash basket around in the bus coming back. By the time we got to Juarez, it was fine. But,
That's funny.
the rule book. You know, you will dress appropriately. There's no reason to take girls, no reason to take pants, because you will be wearing dresses and you will be wearing your band uniform. And this is what and if you act up, we had plenty of people on with us that would haul your little self back to town because you are representing your school and your community, and there was no screwing around because this was the way it was. And you want punishment? Try it, buddy. You know? But everybody had a wonderful time, and they welcomed you like you were royalty.
Yeah, well, of course.
Was great. You know, and the area that we played in there in Chihuahua, I don't remember the name of the place, but it had a huge courtyard around it, and we were out there. And then we had one time must have been Risers or a flatbed or something where we were out street side, and people were everywhere. And of course, then we wanted to go shopping in the afternoon. Well, everybody takes a siesta in the middle of the afternoon, so you can forget shopping. But yeah, it was a great time. But they were strict in those days. You did certain things, and this is the way it was, or play.
It might be kind of fun one of these days to take a look at the rule book and just see what some of those rules are.
We'll have a good time talking about it. But it was a great concert when Severinsen came. And
that's a great story. Talk about that. Well, let's talk about.
Of course, there's probably a lot of people that don't even know who Doc Severinsen was.
Well, that's true. That's true. And today is the day before 9/11. That's been 20 years now, and so I think Sean read a stat this morning: 25%. Or even greater number. I forget the number. I don't want to say the wrong number. Don't even have any memories of or recall because, that's 20 years ago.
Well, so look how many people weren't even born.
Exactly.
Yes.
So,
but that's just like they always say, you will remember where you were at when Kennedy died. I was in a 7th grade science class.
Yeah.
You will remember where you were when Elvis died or when you got the news, when the Challenger blew up.
Yep.
I know
that one. I know 9/11. I also know where I was when Bear Bryant died because I was living in Alabama at the time, and that was like major big time news there when Bear Bryant passed away. But yeah, you remember some of those major events, but now you've got people that were born, either were very, very young.
Well, you know what?
Or
they
were
need to
born after
replay all of that video that day.
Yeah, I don't know if they will. Some are, and to some degree, but I don't know if
people. This is what happened. This was an invasion on our soil, and that doesn't happen. It's not supposed to happen.
Right.
And if we're not careful, it can happen again.
Well, listening to conversation with Congresswoman Harrell, you wonder if we haven't created a scenario where that could happen now here.
Yes.
Based on some of the people that have been coming in across the border.
Oh, yeah.
Or that we brought in from Afghanistan. We got like 100,000 Afghanis and a couple thousand Americans, and there's still some Americans over there, but we're not entirely sure. And we're waiting on the Taliban to let some of our Americans leave, and it's just it's a huge stinking mess.
And I don't believe that Biden's popularity poll is that high. I bet if there was a real poll taken and you asked, it'd be down like maybe 15%.
At the risk of being kicked off of YouTube, I don't think he won the election, but that's me. Somebody had brought this by when the 9/11 Memorial Mobile Exhibit came to Artesia back in June.
Yes.
And it's an actual copy of the New York Times from 9/12, the day after the
it's a fabulous
the plane attack, and of course we've got it preserved in a bag, and I really thank and appreciate the gentleman that brought it by, and
everybody, well, you talk and you see people miss 9/12. They miss the day after, because that's when everybody started.
We were just trying to figure out what on earth was going on.
Well, yeah, but everybody got together and they recognized each other and they spoke to each other.
Yep.
And when you could finally get on an airplane, that was the weirdest thing in the whole world with the skies quiet, you acknowledged the people next to you. And then that faded away, and now you get on a plane and nobody speaks to each other. And there's no reason for that.
Got to have your masks on, and you got to show.
Well, I mean, even prior, I wasn't talking
kind of stuff, but
pre-COVID. I was any other time since then. It has gotten to where You don't talk to the person next to you. You don't even acknowledge their presence, which is so tacky in a sense. If you're sitting that close to somebody, you at least should acknowledge their presence. But the day after, flags everywhere, everybody spoke. We were one nation.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen.
No, and it's not that way now.
And you shouldn't have to have a big disaster, an invasion or whatever, to get back to that.
That's right. That's right. No,
This should be this way all the time.
Yeah, we should be proud to be Americans. There's nothing wrong with saying you're proud to be American.
No.
There's nothing wrong with saying the Pledge of Allegiance. There's nothing wrong for standing for the national anthem when
if you don't like it, get out of this country.
Yeah.
Go to Afghanistan and live and see how you like it.
Well, yeah. Especially if you're a liberal, because you ain't going to like it.
Go to Mexico. Go to some poor third world country.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like the freedoms you have. You don't realize. We take so much for granted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm allowed to sit here and tell you everything I think on this radio.
And on the public airwaves,
That's
no
a
less.
freedom.
Yeah.
We take running water for granted.
Mm-hmm.
We expect when we turn on a faucet, fill a glass.
Yeah.
A light switch. Those are freedoms that we take for granted.
Yeah.
You don't have a right. You pay your bill and you can have it.
Mm-hmm.
But still,
it's readily available and
Yes.
it's relatively inexpensive to obtain and have.
you get a free education, kindergarten through 12th grade.
That's right.
Not every country has free education. You may have education available if you're lucky, and you may pay for it.
And your daughters get to go to school
Yes.
and learn.
Yes.
And are taught that they can be whoever they want to be and do whatever they want to do, just like the guys.
Yeah.
You know?
There's no line that says girls on this side, boys on this side. Now, granted, when I went to school, girls couldn't take shop or mechanical arts or whatever, mechanical drawing, which I thought was a little tacky.
Well, why would they need to? No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
beside the point. That's beside the point. There was a line there. You
But
just
no,
didn't
no,
take them.
no. Obviously,
Finally, when I was a senior, the boys got to take what they called family living, which was glorified home ec.
Yes,
but,
that's right.
You know, in those days there was but you still had free education.
That's right. That's right.
And if you wanted to do something, take advantage of it. There wasn't a question then where you taught your kids at home. You could get your little self down there going to school, you know, and it was exciting to have a new desk or a new box of crayons and a desk.
Sure.
And I remember when the high school was built and we went to open house and all of everything was new. And I thought, oh, it'll probably be torn up by the time I get here. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
But still, there's so many things that we just take for granted.
Yep.
And the ability to have conversation and to voice our opinions to another person without being arrested or shot. You have to realize.
Or beheaded.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing to me, the lack of awareness of the differences in the cultures.
Oh, yeah.
And how some people think ours is terrible and we need to embrace these other cultures. Anyway,
you want to embrace them, go live in those countries.
Go live in those countries. That would be.
And if you're lucky, you might be able to get in with a suitcase full of your own clothes.
Maybe.
If you are lucky.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Any clean and wonderful stuff going on? You got some cleanups going on here? You didn't bring a list with you, so.
No.
Yeah.
Well, you know, always the 1st of August to the end of October, Tas Namas.
Okay.
Picking a date for us is kind of like, you can't get people just to come on that particular date. You know, make it easy on everybody. We appreciate you doing a cleanup. We will provide bags and gloves and, you know, we have vests and grabbers and whatever else that you might need. Do a cleanup anytime.
Okay.
Get a group together. We need it. Of course, we always need it. The easiest thing to prevent this kind of stuff, don't throw it on the ground.
If it's not
Secure
there,
your loads.
That's right.
Don't throw it in the back of the truck and think it's going to stay there because, you know, a little breeze will suck it out quicker than anything.
That's true.
And there it goes.
Yep.
Yes. Teach your kids. Kids, teach your parents. Whoever's the litter bug in the family, shame them. You know, whatever you have to do.
That's right. That's right.
But challenge another business. CVE, challenge PVT.
Mm-hmm.
Or vice versa, but CVE is very, very loyal.
Oh,
They
yeah.
always clean their mile.
That's right.
Well, maybe they should challenge PVT, and say, hey, we can, come up with better than you, or we'll get more together, or
yeah.
we make better burritos or hot dogs, whatever you have to do to challenge them,
Yep.
But we'll be more than happy to provide, bags. And there's lots of places along the highway. When I have people doing community service for me, most of the time they're younger, and I don't really want to put them out on 285. I'll put them out on 13th, which probably is just as dangerous, or 26th, or the fairground, or parks, or whatever. But there's lots of our mile highways that.
So if you're not sure where to do a cleanup, which is kind of silly because it's kind of everywhere.
Yes.
But you can help out with suggestions.
And if it's on a state highway department will pick up the bags. You don't have to haul them. If you have pickups, that's very generous of you to pick them up, or just
take them to the
the
transfer station.
But otherwise, I'll pick them up if you don't want to take them with you.
But the main thing you want to know during this period of time, how many people were in your group?
Yes.
How many bags?
Yes.
You collected?
Exactly.
And how long it took you to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Those are very simple things. Because that goes into a big formula and added up with everybody else, and then Keep America Beautiful gets it, and then they can compile a litter report, and job security for somebody up there that's wanting to do all this terrible report. But there's a lot of places that have the ability to recycle, and they separate. When they're picking up litter, they'll separate all the plastic and all the water bottles and all the aluminum and the tires and on and on. I'm just thrilled to death if y'all clean it up.
Yeah.
We don't have time for that, so.
That's right. So it's call Linda, and because you, like you said, you've got this window now through
the end of October.
Where you do a cleanup, give those stats to Linda, and then that'll help Linda. That'll help you with your reporting to.
Yes. And you can call the office at 748-3192 and just say, hey, I've seriously been thinking about this, and it's something I need to do. Now, there's your opening line. I've done that for you. So, yes, if you want to do a cleanup, and then just, come by and pick up stuff, and I'll send you on your way to wherever it's most needed.
Excellent.
So it's very easy and very appreciated. And remember, you're not doing this for me.
No.
You're doing it for the community.
For the community,
so
that's right.
So keep that in mind.
Aiden Rodriguez has a birthday today.
Well, good. Happy birthday.
Aiden is 9 years old today.
Oh, right.
So we want to wish a happy birthday to Aiden Rodriguez with love from Aiden's family. So
wonderful.
We wish you a happy birthday.
I hope he gets a cool cake or cupcakes or something,
something
special.
Nice.
It's always like, well, what do you want to eat on your birthday? What's your favorite food? And, like spaghetti or...
You know what mine is? Mine is the sausage McMuffin and egg breakfast sandwich from McDonald's here in Artesia.
Yes, and I heard you had the share donut thing back there.
I do.
Well.
Yeah, they're hidden.
It looks like
They're hidden back there so that nobody else.
That doesn't mean that I can't find it. I can sniff them out.
I love those. It's like a SAR of donut holes, all kind of together.
I think we talked about this.
Yeah.
It's kind of like monkey bread.
Exactly. Which I had to learn and be reminded of. I've seen monkey bread. I've had monkey bread. I just didn't put the two together until the donut came out. And I think Dave and a few other folks pointed out that that's just like monkey bread. And you said the same thing.
Yes.
So it's pretty cool. Linda, thank you so much for
you're welcome.
For being with us today. We appreciate it. And
cruise around and look at yards. And if there's somebody that you just absolutely think that.
Now, this one that we just showed the
deserving?
pictures for today, that's where?
710 Monterey Way.
710 Monterey Way.
And if you have no idea where that is, it's kind of a newer street in a sense in the last, I don't know how many years, quite a few. But if you just go down 7th and then keep on going when you get to Hermosa School, and it's like 2 more streets.
Oh, okay.
And, of course, obviously you have to turn right because
if you turn
the
left,
school's there.
Well, if you turn left, you run into our tower.
Oh.
That tower back there?
Okay.
That's KSVP's tower.
Okay. I was going to say the playground and a bunch of weeds, but
Yeah, but then if you look back beyond the weeds,
there it is.
there's the tower.
Okay.
That's the KSVP tower back there.
All right.
So.
There's some beautiful yards along that street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of newer homes and,
they're kind of
nicely
tucked away
landscaped.
back there.
Yes, they are, because beyond them is the pecan trees, so you can't get any further than that.
It's a nice place to be.
Yes.
Linda, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.
All righty.
We are going to take a quick break and